about internally, and it's our own challenge to try and combat some of these things. We've talked a lot about AI. In our video platform, we have two of them, but this is our NEP platform. We have already incorporated, as many of you know, translation, transcription, speech to text technologies to make the platform as user-friendly for our users. But there's a plan to develop it even further. We're now testing a process by how we will use prompt and generative AI to improve and modify the metadata that is carried along with the scripts and the video that we carry. Of course, we have to make absolutely sure that the source information is correct in the first place. We don't want to just hallucinate a lot of metadata from the ether, but actually there are ways, and we're look very carefully testing this, of if we have a script that comes to us perhaps incomplete, or if it's breaking news and you as an uploader of content to us haven't got the full amount of time to give us every piece of data that you might, how can we use generative AI ourselves within ENEX to make the process of uploading and downloading as frictionless as possible? So stand by for that. We will test it internally before we test it externally, but it's something that we ourselves are working on as well. We're also looking at a way, we have live view matrix, as many of you know, as how we distribute our lives to you out there in your various newsrooms and MCRs. We're also looking to see whether or not we can incorporate live streams within the platform as well and allow you to clip the lives in real time and take your own snippets from the live sources that we give you. Again, we'll test it internally before we give it to you, but expect it to come down the pipeline to you. And then last of all, a few of these words have come up in some of the sessions. These are the sorts of things that we feel are intrinsic to the ENEX model. Definitely, we rely on partnership, otherwise we would not exist. We rely on collaboration. I always say at these meetings that collaboration is great, but actually it does take some effort, and we spend a lot of time thinking about how can we make that collaboration as easy as possible for all of you and make it as valuable as it is if you can get that right. We ourselves are looking to future-proof our own model, and we also say that this idea of partnerships and cooperation is actually a very modern concept, if you think of it like that, because all of us may not be able to buy in hundreds of thousands of pounds of external contracts. We'll have to cooperate and collaborate more with each other. And actually, ENEX is one of the ways that you can do that with the outside world and with each other. And remember, of course, unlike those other news agencies, I mentioned that all of the content or much of the content on the ENEX platform comes from you, so it's unique to you. No one else has it. So that's worth bearing in mind. There you go. That's a truncated version of my PowerPoint, which I did at speed. We don't want to see the reserve slides, so you can scrub that. So now, how are we going to finish the conference? We're going to end it on a positive note. And we've heard a lot about this session already. Simon, as well as being one of the leaders of the journalism school in Cologne, which is a fantastic institution, which I've been learning about even more since I've been here, is also the chairman of the board of directors of ENEX. So he's all of our boss, actually. And we thought, what better way to go out than have the chairman of the board of directors of ENEX to chair a session about who is the future of our industry. We've also very much relied upon, should we say, a former colleague, that's Sophie Merle from M6. Both of these guys have deserted the newsroom and gone to actually the educational part of our business, training and guiding the next generation of journalists. And I'll leave you to explain where we're going with this journey.
Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, and it's quite a good thing, I think, to close the General Assembly with a topic and talking about future, something good, something we all are focused on, and to talk with people who represent this future of our industry. And therefore, I'd like to introduce the guests here. Maybe we have the next slide. So we have at the one side Maelle Couillard, may you come? She's a student and is at the ESJ Pro University in Montpellier, France. We have Hannah Kaiser and Marie Möllecken, trainee at the RTL School of Journalism in Germany, in Cologne. And we have Michelle Seidel, journalism trainee at RTL Nord. Thanks for being here and very welcome. Yeah, take a seat. So, Michelle, you are placed in Hamburg, but I think it's the first time you've been in touch with the ENEX. How is it so far, being in this family?
I think I just can say something positive, otherwise I will be not coming again. No, I think it's a very interesting exchange and very interesting people with a lot of experience, which we can learn a lot from, I think.
Mm-hmm. Hannah, which you have been here since yesterday. Which session do you like most, or which was very impressive? Do you have a favorite or some thoughts on this?
That's a difficult question. I think really every debate was really interesting. I think the Gaza debate this morning was very impressive, just to get to know how it's really there, in Gaza, reporting from there, and also the discussion about it, the different perspectives. So yeah, that's something I will definitely keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Marie, what about you?
I think I like the AI discussion the most because it gave me hope that there will be jobs left for us and AI is not taking over. And that we can work creatively together with AI, but there's still enough left for us to do to be creative by ourselves, and AI can help us with that.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Yeah. So when I talked to, or we talked to each other, what can we do with these topic? We thought, why the heck are people coming still to journalism because of like AI or because of the world we live in now, right now? So it's a question about purpose. And Michelle, I've talked to you. Maybe you can give us an impression. Why are you becoming or just being at the moment a journalist, and why are you in this kind of job?
Yeah, when I told to my parents I wanted to be a journalist, that was the reaction. Why on earth would you do that? And especially with the world we're living in, I think our job is really useful. We have to give some landmarks to people to explain situations that are getting the more and more unstable. So I think, yeah, the job of a journalist, especially now, is really important to give hints and give a lightning to the whole situation of the world.
Mm-hmm. Michelle, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree definitely because I think we live in times where a lot of disinformation and fake news are spread in the world. And I think because of that, it's more important than ever that there are real journalists that you can trust, which is a difficult task. But I think it's very important to learn that and, yeah, do that in those difficult times.
Mm-hmm. And for example, because I think you all are interested in news, but maybe your best friend who isn't a journalist is not so much. So how do they inform? How does your best friend, for example, inform? Not none or like?
I'm glad that my best friend isn't here.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people in my generation, of course, use social media. It's not that typical way to watch TV or use prints to inform yourself. But I think it's also a chance to just change the whole journalism and the ways to use information and storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have been since when in RTL North? A longer while now, is it right?
Yeah, like nearly 2 years.
Yeah. So now you have the chance in front of your boss's boss to say what do you see as a young journalist? What could we do better maybe in a newsroom, like just in case of this whole topic, social media. So Do we things right? Do we things wrong? What is your impression?
Of course, I would say invest in the young generation because we are digital natives. We are used to the platforms. And yeah, I think maybe just, I know there's no much time, or there's not a lot of time for those experiences, or experiments, but I think it's very important to invest in the young generation and use their power to, think differently and think in new ways.
And Hannah, this power of youth, so to say. So I think this is a group here. We all have our experience. One could say you have the power of youth, and we have, or at least me or someone of you, we would say maybe we're not that young anymore, but we have experience. So what could be a good thing for us, for the maybe older generation, to enhance you, to supports you to become more and more professional?
I think, it's not about old versus young.
Yeah.
It's just about bringing them together somehow. So we can profit from you, from the older generations, and because you have so much experience, you have this professionalism, you've learned this traditional way of making journalism, but you can also profit from us. So I think a big benefit of our generation is that we bring lots of flexibility, so we can be, due to social media, a video creator, editor, reporter, all at the same time. This, of course, shouldn't replace real professionals, because they still can do it much better. But in current times, it helps to be flexible, to adapt at the current situations. So I think that's a thing we can bring into journalism. But just as I said, I think it's important to combine both, so that we don't work against each other, but that we work with each other.
Great. Any thoughts, Marie?
I think the older generation always tells us to be brave, to go out there, find the stories. And I also think, like Hannah, that we have to work together, but maybe on the other side, we have to be brave in the newsroom and try out new things, new formats, new type of working, and also bring other people in the newsroom, maybe not trained journalists, but people who are specialized in different platforms like Twitch or TikTok. I don't mean that you have to bring all TikTokers in the room, but maybe people who are very good in this area, because I mean, we use the platforms every day, but we are not a specialist as well. But when you're a content creator, for example, you know how to get the people and how to awake like interests in the people.
Do you agree? So would you say, it's a good idea to bring content creator in your newsrooms? Yes. And who is doing that at the moment? Okay. Yeah.
Not in the newsrooms, but we collaborate in news camps, bar camps, something like that. I think that's what it's all about. I wouldn't need them in the newsroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to make special points or special rooms for coming together with guys who are professional at like TikTok or social media as well. And television is playing a role in your personal life. What would you say?
In my life, definitely yes. So, but I think I'm not really a representative of my generation. So, I really like watching television in the evenings. So
linear.
Yes, of course, it's the truth. But I think that's why I'm at RTL, maybe.
Okay.
But when I look to my friends, nobody of them is watching linear television. So they are all more into social media, YouTube, or streaming. So I think I'm not the general case, and we have to focus more on other ways, more on streaming, for example, like RTL Plus, where you can really watch what you want when you want. So our generation wants the flexibility. We are flexible, but we also want flexibility. We don't want anybody to tell us you have to look this video at 8 p.m. or something like that. We want to watch it when we have time and when we feel ready for it. So I think streaming is a very big thing in the future.
I think streaming platforms also show that people are willing to pay money for good content. And I think that they're so used to it to watch what they want to watch any time that the way back to linear television is pretty hard. And that we have to build up maybe a system where the young people also pay for content and also journalistic content. Maybe in the future there's a platform where we can get news on, where there's a monthly payment for also younger people, that we can make money with journalism. That would be great.
Yeah, this is the goal, at least. So, and Michelle, what about your experiences with television? Are you still watching television?
I do, but not as much as the generations before me, like my parents or something. But when I think about television maybe dying, I think that's a sad part, because I think it's quite nice to not really know what you see next, and you don't have to make the choice. I think it's also something nice we have in television, but of course, times changes, and we have to be flexible and also consider what the younger generations want to watch.
And is there any of you whose friends are paying for news?
I mean, I'm in a journalism school, so obviously all of my friends around me
Who are not journalists?
who are not journalists,
Yes.
no. I think they go more
No
on
newspaper, no digital
We had this
outlet.
conversation on the fact you just subscribe to so many things like YouTube, Netflix, and now you have to subscribe for everything. So people make choices, and on the daily life of a person who is not a journalist, you won't go to a paying app if you have free news on the TV, for example. That does not mean they watch TV, but they won't pay for something they can have for free.
I think it's important to specialize on something. So, for example, I think sports will be interesting. Will forever be interesting because, for example, it's my boyfriend or my brother or my dad. They have so many streaming platforms, subscribe to so many streaming platforms because of soccer. Because you have to have about 8 different platforms to watch all plays. So if you have a special interest, then you will also pay to watch it. For example, RTL Plus is really focused on reality TV. So friends of mine that like watching reality TV, they subscribe to RTL Plus, but mostly due to reality TV. So I think when you have one thing that you focus on and you're really good in this area, then you can also convince people to subscribe for it.
And we talked about brands and heads today, or people. So, and one theory was that brands maybe are not so much important, and more important are the topics or the communities and the heads of it, or the faces. Do you agree? Or I see yes. It's so brand is not that much important. Would you say?
I think there are still brands that people trust. Also, I think in Germany, everybody watches, I'm sorry, the Tagesschau.
Yes.
Also RTL Aktuell, but also the Tagesschau.
Yes.
Because it's a serious news magazine and everybody knows it and people trust it and they know when they're sending Tagesschau, okay, it's serious, also with RTL Aktuell or ZDF heute. And stuff like that. So I still think that there are brands you trust, but I think the younger generations are more focused on faces, on personalities. So they are we've had it in the talk a few hours ago. There are content creators that have millions of followers just because people are interested in their lives, in their opinion. They have a personal connection, just a parasocial connection to those people. And I think this will be more important in the future. Faces are more important than brands. But if brands collaborate with faces, then it can be the maximum profit.
Okay, yeah, Michelle?
And I think also at the Tagesschau you mentioned, there are news anchors who are faces and who you recognize and kind of trust. So yeah, I think it was always about the persons and the faces who are representing the brand.
Yeah, okay. One totally different story or topic is Sophie. Yeah, it's great that we have you here, and you may come just shortly here. We saw each other 1 year ago in Shanghai, and we both quitted the old job and got something new, and we are both now working with young people. And we talked about it. Maybe you can let us have a small window in your head. What do you think? What have changed in your view about the industry, about in being in newsrooms when you now arguing and discussing a lot with young people? Is there anything which changed in your mood or in your way of thinking since then?
Thank you. Hello. I think that the new journalist, have a new vision of journalism because you use social media, you use engagement, and you refuse cynicism. Our cynicism. I think that they refuse it, and we have to be careful about that when we make when we produce information. If we want to keep or to catch their attention as user, but as journalists and very trained journalists, they have a lot of ability, soft skill, of course, and because they are native, so it's okay. But I think that they want to not to be activist, but I told you about engagement. I think it's very interesting, very a goal for you. I think that you are searching. Yes, it's be careful because they can be tired very, very quickly, not along the day, but if they don't feel sense, if they don't feel honestly in our treatment, in news treatment, they can go away from our job, from our profession. They need very strong values, and perhaps they are disappointed with our treatment. That's why they go and they prefer to follow some influencer, some news influencer that that seems to be more authentic. I don't like this kind of word, but yes, perhaps. Yes, what can I say? In France, we have a sociologue. I don't know the name, sociologue, scientist, who made a study, and a lot of young journalists leave our profession. So if we want to have relevance, we have to educate both in school, but after in companies, we have to keep their attention to be sure that they are safe with us, and not to make some pressure. the Gen Z doesn't want pressure. They want coaching and feedback. And I see you smile. You know that. And sense. It's the real name. Sense. Yes, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, you know my point of view on that, Sophie. I want to have a job that means something, and I want to relate. I want to make a work that like is faithful to my values and the way I see the world. We had this conversation at lunch too. I don't think neutrality is the most important thing for a journalist. On the contrary, I think you can have an opinion. You are a human being, even if you are a journalist. You are a human being, so you have an opinion on things. And we saw earlier with the Gaza episode with the two journalists. They are pointed as activists, but really they are just living the situation. The same in Ukraine, you are living the situation, so you have an opinion on stuff. That doesn't mean you can't do your job correctly. As if you make the job to look information, to cross the sources, to really investigate, the work you produce won't be neutral, but it would be quality news. And that think that's what my generation, I'm speaking on my behalf, of course, I don't know everyone, but I think that's what my generation is looking for. They want quality and valuable information.
We discussed about it at lunch. I was sad because I was more. I agree with you because everybody of us has an opinion, but for me personally, it's journalism is very much about being neutral. So I think it's dangerous to have too much opinion in coverage because you can lose other people. So, but that shows that you can't say, okay, this is the generation Gen Z. So we also have different opinions on topics and on how to what good journalism means. And I think we are all good journalists.
Yeah, there's not one
also, everyone
vision.
has maybe different opinions on things. So for me, neutrality is a big thing. You can't be really neutral. It's everything you produce has a little bias, so you can't change it. But for me, it's very important to not judge and to have all the perspectives. Yeah.
There's as many journalism as journalists.
So I think this discussion is not only about your generation, but it's I think we all are part of this. Thank you, Sophie. Of this discussion, and as we said, we talked about this Gaza thing and just on lunch, and we just I just asked the guy from Mahmoud was his name. We introduced him and we talked about as journalist and activist, and Arad was a journalist. And I think this is not only about your generation. I think it's a topic we all talk about, even in these times, even when we have Trump and we have Putin and we have Ukraine and we have China. So in the end, it's about, I think, freedom and democracy, and when it comes to this values, I think. And I've learned it from you that you are value driven. I would say that's why you're in this job, right? So, we two know each other. Meanwhile, a little bit better, but I think I heard it from you as well. So it's not just a job like earning money. So it's way more passion. Yeah, that's great. So I think for me and in my age, it's very good to hear that there is passion in the youth. Have you questions?
So I agree with you that probably creating engagement with your generation is about personalities and the faces. But do you also realize that that actually means you engaging and you creating this parasocial relationship, which is quite a vulnerable position to be in? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you have to consider that as a journalist if you step out there and yeah, say maybe your opinion or maybe just news, but yeah, you have to keep in mind that there's an audience that will maybe recognize your personality, your face, but yeah, you have to see if it's worth it for you to do that and step back in your own safety, if you want to say it like that, in order to put great journalism and serious journalism out there.
Okay, I have a question. So I consider myself between two, not on the old generation, not like you, young anymore. I'm 40,
Me
so
too.
I'm half-half.
Me too.
No, I'm half-half, guys. So I'm on the middle. I still think that I'm young, but yeah. Now my question is more about the AI generative content, because when I never study journalism, but first thing that we learn is that to verify source and check all the sources. And now with the AI generate content like Sora and things like that, I think for the young generation, on the old generation, it was easy because when you see some video, you can see if it's fake, if it's edited or not. Now it's more and more complicated to see with these new tools, AI tools, and maybe on next generation, you will be more focused on to develop some work, different work to see if it's AI or not content. And are you concerned about that? Do you think that you will specialize maybe on this area, or what's your thought about that, about the AI generative content? Maybe I don't know.
I think at every media company there is a verification team. So at RTL we also have a verification team, and also had a few workshops on this topic. So I think it will be more difficult, but there will also be more people that are handling this. So if you have a problem, a new challenge that you should focus on, then you need more people that will focus on this challenge. So I think every job, every profession is about developing and about changing, and yeah, you have to do the best, and you will become better in every case. So in general, I think, yes, you shouldn't see AI as a threat. You should maybe see it as an add-on. So it can make many things easier. For example, research to get an overview of a topic, and it saves time that you can invest in other things, and being more creative, and doing your job better, especially that what's journalism is about, creating stories. If you have more time for that, if you don't need to do the technical stuff, or research is going faster.
I think, or for me, AI is kind of scary because I'm concerned that maybe in the future it gets so realistic that even myself will not recognize it. And as a journalist, if you step in that, how do you say it in English? Falle? Yeah, in this trap, that's the word. If you step in this trap, everyone can see it maybe, and it's in the news, and you can't change it anymore. So maybe we have to work on AI programs that help us to fight against AI, which is a little bit, which is the challenge, but maybe we can use it to identify what is real and what's not real. Yeah, but we have to do a lot of work on it, I think.
Yesterday, as I said, 20 or 25 years ago, everyone said, oh no, the internet will cost our jobs. You won't need journalists anymore. So there will always come a new challenge. But we're still here. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
Yo.
I would love to hear one sentence of bold advice from the panelists to all the old people in the in the audience, which of course includes Alex.
Difficult, yeah.
Give us a chance. Yeah, that's what we said in the beginning. We have a lot to learn from you, but you also have something to learn from us, and we can change things by working together, and we can try to make the audience, especially the younger audience, to trust the media again if we work together.
Yeah, I would say believe in your young employees, listen to them, and use their knowledge and resources to create something new and yeah, think of new ways to do journalism.
Okay, I just can't say again. Say it again. Okay, I have maybe yeah, think about different perspectives. So constructive journalism is a big thing in our generation, I would say. So just yeah, not always looking for the bad, but looking for solutions or for different perspectives. And yeah, I think many young people are sick of all this crisis, all the bad news, and finding a constructive way of dealing with it can überzeugen, can convince them. Yeah.
I would say don't stop investing money in new ideas, because I know there's not a lot of money left in this in this area, but I think new ideas need some support, need some backup, and we have to start somewhere. And I know change is scary and stuff, but creativity needs money. People who work in a creative area need money and jobs, and don't be scared of new ideas and new publishing channels.
And maybe just like
Wonderful
sorry.
closing words. Thank you.
Well, I think if we were thinking at one stage we'd end with devastation in Gaza, but I think this is a better place to leave our conference today. Thank you so much to the panel. That was really,
Thank you.
I loved Maelle's comment there about trying to work together, the young and the old, and Joe is sort of more on the older stage, maybe. And so no, that's a great way to end. Thank you so much, all of you, for participating.
Thank you.